3 dictators who died peacefully and are still popular. 1. Francisco Franco, Spain. The fascist dictator ruled Spain for 36 years. Between 1939 and 1975, Franco transformed the country. Around 200,000 political dissidents were executed by militias. An additional 400,000 were imprisoned. Many died of malnutrition in concentration camps. Others were forced into slavery. 500,000 people fled Spain as political refugees. Franco died of old age on November 20, 1975. The government announced 30 days of national mourning. Franco was interred in a massive mausoleum complex. It had been built by slave labor. Spain transitioned to democracy relatively swiftly. Yet the legacy of Francoism is still controversial. Franco's regime has never been officially condemned. No one paid for the crimes. Franco's economic reforms were very successful, so that era is still remembered as one of prosperity. In 2019, Franco's remains were moved to a cemetery. Only 43% of the Spanish approved of the move. 2. Mao Zedong, China. Mao's legacy is even more complicated than Franco's. He was responsible for more deaths than anyone in the 20th century. Mao's China sent troops to North Korea to keep it communist. Then in the 1960s, he announced the Cultural Revolution. The Chinese were instructed to destroy the old ways. Violence exploded across the country. Professors were dragged out into the street and paraded around. Students poured scalding water on them and hit them with spiked clubs. The death toll, for teachers only, was 1.5 million. Millions more were executed or died of starvation. The famine was a result of Mao's agricultural policies. Ultimately, Mao killed between 40 and 80 million people. He died in 1976 after 33 years in office. Some of his policies were openly criticized after his death. Many of his closest allies were arrested and executed. However, he's still revered as a god. His mausoleum in Tiananmen Square is a place of pilgrimage. The ruling Chinese Communist Party never criticizes him. Mao was 70% right and 30% wrong, goes a popular saying. The Chinese credit him with transforming China into a superpower. 3. Antonio de Oliveira Salazar, Portugal. Salazar was the longest ruling European dictator. He created a corporatist, authoritarian regime called Estado Novo. All political dissent was crushed. Censorship was strict, and an opposition leader was killed. However, Estado Novo was not a brutal fascist regime. There were no mass executions or labor camps. Salazar distanced himself from both communists and fascists. He was openly Christian, but kept the church at arm's length. In 1968, the 79-year-old dictator fell in a bath. He had a brain hemorrhage and slipped into a coma. Salazar had been in power since 1932. Many people couldn't imagine a Portugal without him, but the prime minister dismissed him in absentia. A month later, Salazar unexpectedly woke up. No one dared to tell him the truth. For almost 2 years, his inner circle kept on an elaborate charade. They created fake newspapers for him to read. They pretended to follow his directive. All this was done to convince Salazar he was still in power. He died in 1970. Estado Novo collapsed after a popular uprising 4 years later. In 2007, a TV show conducted a poll to select the greatest Portuguese ever. Salazar won by a wide margin, causing much controversy.